Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a consortium of 3 separate financial groups have put forth a proposition to purchase Electronic Arts EA for a lot of money. This is not set in stone. The ink is definitely not dried on this. It's going to have to await, I guess, U.S. regulation approval to go through. But the speed at which this is going to happen and be finished is actually rather quick. And the implications for EA from this purchase is going to be very interesting to take a look at. But before we get into any of that, be sure to like this video if you guys like it, and be sure to sub to the channel for more. We upload videos Monday through Friday, and we stream Saturday mornings if Saturday mornings are available. So let us go ahead and get into this a little bit. Electronic Arts confirms it will be acquired for $55 billion. So let's get into this first bit right here. EA has recently confirmed that an investor group composed of Silver Lake, Affinity Partners, and Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, will acquire it for about $55 billion. This consortium will acquire 100% of EA, by extension all these subsidiaries under EA, which will no longer be listed on the stock market after the transaction is finished. That last bit is rather interesting. So if any of you guys own any EA stock, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. You guys are about to get a major payout. Pretty good payout. The article goes on to say a little bit more, but this is huge. This is absolutely huge. EA is composed of so many different IPs, subsidiaries. Like, EA is one of the biggest gaming companies out there. Aside from gaming, other things involved with it, EA for, I don't know which movies or TV shows, but some bits and pieces here and there, some other forms of entertainment, but mostly video games. I don't know where they put their money into anything else, but nonetheless, this consortium will acquire 100%. Anything EA has owned, partnered with, maybe not partner with, but everything that EA owns is now going to fall underneath the auspices of these 3 separate investment funds. So very interesting to see how that will happen. Let's move on. So this is a little bit more background on what EA is. We all know what EA is. We all know what EA is. After EA's deal with this investor consortium, the publisher will no longer be a publicly traded company, and stockholders will receive $210 in cash for each share that you own. A 25% premium on the company's unaffected share price of $168.32 at market close September 25th, 2025, so only a few days ago. Despite changing hands, EA will continue to have Andrew Wilson as its CEO, so nothing upper end is going to change. The major, I guess, refocus on this is that it's no longer going to be a publicly traded company. Therefore, it's not going to be beholden to all the investors. It's only going to be under, again, the auspices of those 3 that put in the big money. Now, this article, I do not think says how much they own 100% of EA. That bit was there, but that, as well, as far as the split is, I'm not sure what the numbers are. We'll probably find that out at some point, but it will remain headquartered in Redwood City, California. Shout out. According to Wilson, the acquisition is a moment of powerful recognition for the remarkable work EA has done in building some of the world's most iconic IP. I will agree with that last bit, some of the world's most iconic IP. I think we can say that, especially EA regarding The Sims, Apex Legends, the sports games, FIFA, Madden, right? All of them, all the sports games. So EA in and of itself, major, absolutely huge. I was going to say, when it first went public in 1989, it had a market capitalization of around $84 million. So it has blown itself up over the decades since then. 1989, I was not even born yet. That is wild. Founded in 1982. It's been around. EA's been around for a hot minute, dudes. And yeah, after this is a major chapter in the story of EA. So the transaction is expected to close in Q1 fiscal year 27. Now I had to look that up to see what that is, or when that is. EA's fiscal year begins April 1st. So ink is going to dry on this pretty much at the very end of June 30th, 2026, Q1 of fiscal year 27. So that means since it starts on April and then ends March 31st, when it's mentioning fiscal year 27, it's also referring to when it begins. It begins April 1st, 2026. So the first quarter of their fiscal year 27 calendar. It took me like a hot minute to kind of like wrap my brain around that. But they essentially, so it is currently the very end of September right now. October is about to begin, the beginning of the fourth quarter. They have 3 quarters remaining for this to be wrapped up and done. So it's happening really, really quick. I thought it was going to happen a little bit after because I couldn't mental that. But at the end of the first quarter of their fiscal year 27 calendar. So it's happening really quick. It's happening in the middle of summer next year. So a lot of changes have to be happening really quick, especially anything that's planned from EA going forward. I know right now Battlefield's about to hit the market on the 10th of October, which is only in like a week and a half at this point. So begs the question, what is going to be their priority going forward once this acquisition is completely done, ink is dried, and they just move forward? One interesting tidbit about this, and I think this article goes on to mention, more about the purchasers of EA. So Silver Lake is an investment fund by a private equity firm in Silicon Valley, founded in 1999. Affinity Partners is a Miami-based investment fund formed in 2021 by Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and it receives considerable funding from the Saudi Arabian government, which is interesting. And then finally, the last one is Saudi Arabia's PIF, a sovereign wealth fund for the Middle Eastern nation, which has made major investments in video game industry. And I remember hearing bits about this over the years, but back in 2023, they became Nintendo's largest investor. I think this article, if you guys want to click that and go take a look at it, I believe it mentions that this PIF fund owns about 8% of Nintendo. So that is very interesting. Apparently, they've been putting their money into the gaming industry for a while. They bought a few esports teams, I believe, or organizations rather. So they're going in. They've got billions to spend, and that seems to be their focus more or less. So this EA acquisition is just nothing more than something that they're going to do. But at the very end of the article, if approved by the U.S. regulators. So this is something that still has to go into the U.S. government to finalize it and all that stuff to make sure. Probably for I forget the term. You guys can probably remind me, but anti-competitive laws or stuff like that, monopolies, they have to take a look at to see if that this isn't going to pose a bit of an issue, especially since this is a lot of foreign money coming overseas to purchase a US based company. So I bet there's something along those lines that they have to look into a little bit more. I know nothing of, so that's way beyond me. But this is still, as it pointed out at the very end, not as big as Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which took up $68.7 billion. So, huge one, not as huge, but nonetheless, $55 billion is absolutely massive. So, this is crazy. So, let's get into this a little bit. So, EA being pulled back from the being a publicly traded company and going private. What could this potentially mean? And I wanted to look at something a little bit more involved with gaming and less so about the economics of the whole thing. So I hit up ChatGPT just to give me some more info on that. And basically what I found out is when the company were to get pulled back from, again, the auspices of the investors through the stock market, there's going to be less eyeballs looking at EA for performance, especially on the month-to-month, the quarter-to-quarter, and all of that, and their stock price going up and down, up and down, up and down. It really puts the focus on the upper management of the company to perform, to really take safe routes with whatever it is that they do, so that their return on investment can be achieved a lot sooner and a lot more reliably. With EA getting bought out by this and going private, what this could potentially mean is that the income revenue generation could not only escalate in games like Apex Legends and all that stuff, microtransactions and stuff that are performing relatively well in the market, but it might allow them to get a little bit more creative. They have a little bit more creative freedom, maybe bring back some old IP, maybe push some other IP into a better direction. This may give EA a little bit of breathing room to to focus more on stuff that they couldn't in the past. alleviating a little bit of stress. Now, that stress didn't go away completely. They still have to make up a huge chunk of this money that the consortium of investors have put into this $55 billion package. The vast majority of it, I think somewhere said it was about $35 billion came from those investment firms. That's cash right there, good to go. But the remainder of that is now debt that EA has to pay off. And I don't know what those figures are exactly, but I did see somewhere that the figures could be potentially a little over $1 billion every year that they have to achieve, if not go over, to produce a profit and all of that. And them being able to do that on the year to year makes it a little bit easier for them, I think. And again, it's not complete alleviation from the stress of trying to increase revenue and all that stuff. It just like shifts it a little bit so that they're given a whole year to figure it out instead of figuring it out month to month, quarter to quarter. That the previous way, they could not take any risks with their IP or any direction of microtransactions and all that stuff with all their different games. But now it could open the doors for them to get a little bit, like I said, a little bit more creative in how they go about it, which is good news for anyone who, I was talking to my wife earlier about The Sims. The Sims franchise has taken a bit of a dip as of late, especially with Sims 4. I remember the entire Sims community when the Star Wars edition. You guys might be able to tell me more in the comments about how that went, but I remember everyone pulling up screenshots of all the DLC packs for The Sims 4 that they owned. That one was always grayed out or just not purchased as it showed up, and I was like, that's very tough. So, not to say that's going to go away completely, but again, it's going to put potentially better direction into the games to perform a little bit better. I know nothing about the Sims franchise on a personal level. I know 2 was good, 3 was good, as the wife reported to me. 4, disappointing, but okay. Sims 5, I think, is in the works. Again, I know nothing. That's just what she said. So this could potentially allow the Sims team under EA to have maybe a little bit more breathing room and start chasing better direction for the game, especially if they decide to listen to the community more. So remains to be seen for all of the IP, but some of them might be doing better. So we'll have to find out. And also, they could probably introduce some new IP. All depends. I'm not really caught up to date on everything that EA owns, subsidiaries and game developers and companies and all that stuff, but the potential for this could be quite huge for EA. I do know there's been pretty much a bad reputation for EA as of late. I can't recall anything off the top of my head. You guys, please remind me in the comments down below how EA has disappointed you as of late. I don't play too many EA titles, especially the specific ones like, again, The Sims or any of the sport games, Madden, FIFA. I could care less about them. So I'm trying to think. There are some offshoots outside that I think I have played, but nothing's coming to mind as of right now. So I don't know. I'm excited for this. Honestly, I'm excited for the purchase. I'm excited for the reorientation of their focus, potentially. Again, potentially. You don't know. It's still, like the article said, it's still going to be run by the same CEO. The management of EA, as far as I know, is not going to be changed. Don't know if the CEO is going to get bought out and someone else is going to come in and take his place. I don't know how these 3 investment firms, again, PIF, Silver Lake, Affinity Partners, how they're going to insert their direction into EA on decisions in the future. That remains to be seen, how they're going to do that, if they're going to allow them to do whatever they want, or if they're going to have a little bit more input. Again, that all remains to be seen. This is not even said and done. This is just what the confirmed package is potentially going to be if, again, the U.S. government approves this buyout, more or less. So going to be interesting, going to be very interesting. So definitely something to keep an eye on. And again, this is coming quick. This is coming within the next 3 quarters. The end of this year, Q1, Q2 of next year, and then we're going to see how this goes. Everything's going to be different. It's going to change. The question also remains is that since we had buyouts with Microsoft on Activision Blizzard, and now we have these three coming in to buy EA or any of these other major developers open for potential buyouts. I think somewhere said Ubisoft has been a little stubborn, maybe not stubborn, but they've been maybe offered and they've denied offers. So Ubisoft is potential. I can't say Nintendo would accept that, even though they have accepted PIF investment, again 8% ownership of Nintendo. I think Nintendo's pretty locked in. I don't know if Sony would do anything. Like it remains to be seen. And this, again, pulling back from the publicly traded company standpoint and going more private could be a better way to go about it right now, especially in today's economic environment. We're just gonna have to find out. There could be layoffs. There could be a lot of restructuring that happens under EA. There could be subsidiaries that close. There could be a lot more structural integration. There could be combinations. They could be closing one, combining a few others. The restructuring, we're just going to have to find out and see how that goes. But yeah, begs the question if the rest of the gaming industry is going to go down this route, just accepting buyouts, pulling away from the public and going more private until they can sort of like reshore their focus on what they want to do. And again, double down on some IP, maybe get rid of some IP, and maybe push forward some interesting games that we prefer. I don't know. Maybe something more into the esports environment. I don't know. Remains to be seen. So we're just going to have to see how this goes. And again, it's happening quick. 3 more quarters and it is done. I don't know. It did not say how long the government is going to take a look at this to approve it. Hopefully relatively soon. I'm not sure. Maybe a month or two. Don't know how that's going to happen, but we'll definitely get an article somewhere around here talking about how it just didn't happen. So could happen, could not happen, but I feel like it might happen. I feel like it actually might happen. EA has not been doing super well past couple of years, so this buyout actually could be something that they were looking forward to. And I don't think anyone's going to complain, especially if you have a lot of EA stock. And if you have a lot of EA stock, be sure to let me know. You're about to get a massive payout depending on how many shares that you own. And like I said, it was recently trading at $163, but if you're in the game early enough, not only did that jump up, but it giving you, what did it say, a 25% spike in the price, in the payout price. It's kind of huge. And it's kind of huge. If you own 5 shares of EA, it's $1,000 straight up. So I don't know. Be sure to let me know what you guys think about this, or if you think other companies should follow suit or remain as they are. I'm not sure. I feel like EA could probably, over the long run, generally turn out better than they are right now through this buyout. But again, that's going to remain to be seen. So looking forward to it, looking forward to seeing what they're going to do, and looking forward to next summer when this is done and seeing where EA's focus is going to go from here, especially if there's an E3 or if there's not an E3. I feel like that's just going back and forth. Whatever showcasings they plan on doing, we're just going to have to see. So with that, dudes, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to give it a like. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you guys think about this, and especially other companies that may benefit or maybe not benefit from this. Maybe there's no benefit in EA for this. Be sure to let me know what you guys think down below, and be sure to sub for more. We post videos Monday through Friday about 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time in the PM. And then we stream 9 in the morning Pacific Standard Time on Saturdays. So I'm out of here. You guys have a good rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow for another video. Until then, I will see you guys later.